Hello, I'm Emily and I'm going to show you how to make a cake version of a key lime pie. Start by baking a vanilla cake and whipping up a batch of buttercream. Check out my tutorial for buttercream you can make in just 4 minutes. Now we're going to make lime curd. Peel 2 limes using a sharp knife. Try to take off only the skin and leave behind the bitter white pith. Squeeze the limes and save the juice. Separate 6 egg yolks from the egg whites by cracking each egg and passing the yolk back and forth between the 2 halves of the eggshell, letting the egg white drip into a bowl until only the yolk is left in the shell. Place the egg yolks in a saucepan with 3/4 cup of sugar. Whisk them together for 1 minute until they look pale and creamy. Add the lime peel and juice and whisk together. Then place the saucepan over medium-low heat and cook gently for 10 minutes, stirring or whisking the whole time. You'll notice the liquid getting thicker, but not as thick as you would expect. It will get much thicker when it cools. Just cook it until the liquid coats the back of a spoon, or if you have a thermometer, you can measure the temperature and it will be ready when it gets to 175 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Pour it into a bowl through a sieve to remove the lime peels. Add 1/2 cup of butter and stir until it melts into the curd. Place cling film or saran wrap over the bowl, pressing it down to touch the surface of the curd. This prevents a skin forming on the curd. Refrigerate the lime curd for at least an hour until it thickens, and then you'll be ready to use it on your cake. Place your first layer of cake on a cake board, attaching it with a dollop of buttercream. Brush the cake with simple syrup, which is made by boiling equal quantities of water and sugar until the sugar dissolves. This will keep the cake moist. Pipe a ring of vanilla buttercream frosting around the cake and fill it with lime curd. The buttercream keeps the curd from seeping out of the cake. Continue layering to build your cake. Now we're going to crumb coat the cake with vanilla buttercream. A crumb coat is a very thin layer of frosting, and its purpose is to catch any crumbs that come off the cake, so they don't get into your final coat of frosting. For tips on this, watch my tutorial on how to frost a cake. We'll final coat the cake. And now for the border. I've blitzed up 4 graham crackers in a food processor, and I'm pressing them into the frosting around the base of the cake. This represents the pie crust of a key lime pie. You can use a pastry brush or a frosting scraper, or just your fingers to brush off the extra graham cracker crumbs from your cake board. Now for the fun part. Pour 1/4 cup of lime curd over the top of the cake. If your cake is bigger than 6 inches, you'll probably need a bit more, so keep adding it a spoonful at a time until you have enough to cover the top of the cake. If your curd is quite runny, like mine, it will spill over the sides of the cake to create a nice drip effect. If it's thicker and doesn't drip over, you can put some lime curd in a Ziploc bag and snip off a corner and then squeeze it out around the rim of the cake to create your own drips. Now put some vanilla buttercream in a piping bag. I'm using a round tip, but you could use a star tip or any other shape you like. Squeeze out little dollops of frosting around the cake to finish it off. And there it is! Refrigerate the cake until 2 or 3 hours before serving. Be very careful when you cut into it. Hopefully you'll do a better job than I did. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more cake tutorials every week.